She's ignoring you and you're dying to know why. That ache in your chest, the unanswered messages, the growing silence, it's real. But what if I told you that this moment, as painful as it feels, is not your downfall? It's your turning point. Most men react. They overreach, over-explain, and in doing so, they lose themselves. But not you. Not here. Because this isn't about chasing a response. It's about reclaiming your center. It's about rising with calm, with clarity, with power that doesn't beg to be noticed. Today, we're going deeper, not just into why women go quiet, but how you, through stillness and self-mastery, become the man who no longer flinches at distance, who no longer ties his worth to attention. We're exploring 7 Stoic secrets, lessons forged through centuries, carried by men like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, meant not to fix her, but to fortify you. If you're ready to understand the silence and turn it into strength, then this is your path. Like this video, subscribe to Stoic Station and turn on the bell. Because here, we don't chase validation, we build presence. Gentlemen, warriors, welcome. This is your call to rise. Let's begin. 1. Accept what you can't control and reclaim your power. There's a moment every man faces, when the messages stop, when the silence grows louder than any goodbye, and when the stillness of her absence starts to echo in your mind. You catch yourself retracing the steps, questioning your words, analyzing her smiles, wondering if you missed something. But the truth is, as clear as it is difficult, you don't control how someone chooses to treat you. You only control what you do in response. Trying to make her answer, to care again, to validate what once felt real. It's like shouting into a canyon and hoping your voice returns with answers. That's not strength. That's confusion dressed as hope, and it robs you of your dignity. The Stoics didn't waste energy on illusions. Epictetus put it simply, some things are up to us, some things are not. Her feelings, not up to you. Her silence, not up to you. But your reaction, that's yours. That's your terrain. That's where your power waits to be reclaimed. There is a quiet confidence in the man who no longer chases closure, a kind of peace that can't be disturbed, not because he doesn't feel, but because he's learned to anchor himself deeper than anyone's presence or absence. Let her silence be what it is, a void. You don't fill it, you build beside it, you grow around it. Action step. Start a let-go list. Each time her memory tries to reclaim your attention, reclaim something of your own, a goal you buried, a value you forgot, a strength you once lived by. Let her absence be the mirror that shows you how much life is still yours to live, untouched, undistracted, and entirely in your hands. Bottom 2. Use reverse psychology, not to manipulate but to master yourself. When a woman goes quiet, most men respond with panic. They double text, they over-apologize, they explain things she never asked about, and in doing so, they reveal exactly what she suspected all along, that she holds the emotional leverage, that her silence has the power to shake you. But you weren't made to be shaken. You were made to grow stronger in the stillness. This isn't about playing games or pretending you don't care. It's about resisting the reflex to chase and choosing, instead, to lead yourself. She may be testing you, not with confrontation, but with distance. She wants to see what happens when her presence is removed. Will you scramble? Will you beg? Or will you stand tall in your own space and let her feel the weight of your absence? True reverse psychology isn't about tricking her. It's about mastering your instincts. It's choosing not to react simply because reaction is expected. It's leaning back when every insecure part of you wants to lean in. And in that pause, that restraint, you create a kind of mystery that no performance could ever manufacture. Marcus Aurelius once said, If someone provokes you, realize it is your own opinion which provokes you. You decide how much control her silence has over your peace. Action step. Try a 3-day no-response reset. No texts, no calls, no checking her socials, and every time you feel the pull to reach out, redirect that energy. Go to the gym, master a skill at work, prepare a powerful meal for yourself. Make her distance the trigger that reminds you to return to your strength. Because the goal was never to get her to chase you. The goal is to stop needing anyone to. 3. Turn her silence into fuel for your evolution. There's something piercing about silence, not because of the words she withheld, but because of the meaning you poured into the quiet. You imagined the connection was real. You played back every smile, every shared glance, trying to make sense of her absence. But that empty space she left behind, it isn't just emptiness, it's raw potential, and what you do with it defines everything. For some men, silence becomes a pit, a place where self-worth erodes, where purpose gets lost. But for others, it becomes a forge, where pain turns to power and absence becomes ignition. You don't need her presence to become more, you need your own decision. Her silence can be the push you didn't know you needed, the call to rise without her applause. Let her silence break your routine, not your spirit. Let it become the weight you lift, the book you finish, the business you finally launch. Make it the moment you stop orbiting her energy and start anchoring your own. Progress isn't about proving her wrong. It's about becoming a man who no longer asks her opinion to define his value. Every rep you grind out, every dollar you invest, every quiet win you build, these are the bricks of your evolution. Action step. Begin a 30-day glow-up sprint. Challenge yourself to lift heavier, read deeper, earn with purpose, dress with pride, and sleep with peace. Track your wins daily, not to impress her, but to silence the version of you that once waited. Because when you commit to growth, you don't just move on, you transcend. You don't chase her attention anymore. You become someone even her silence can't ignore. 4. Reframe her silence as freedom, not rejection. It's easy to mistake her silence for something deeply personal, like you weren't enough, like you failed some invisible test. That's the trap most men fall into. They wear her withdrawal like a scarlet letter, convinced it means they lacked something vital. But silence doesn't always speak of rejection. Sometimes it's redirection. Sometimes it's grace in disguise. What if her absence isn't a punishment, but protection? What if it's life clearing a space, not because you're unworthy of love, but because the version of love she offered was never meant to hold the man you're becoming? Her silence may feel like a door closing, but look closer. It's a doorway opening. One that leads to clarity, self-respect, and emotional peace. In that silence, there are no more games, no more second-guessing, no more pretending to be okay with half-effort. You are no longer stuck in a loop of confusion. You are free. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." This ending, it's yours to repurpose, because once you stop interpreting her silence as proof of your inadequacy, it becomes proof of your potential. It becomes a clean slate, a space to build something real, something yours. So don't ask why she went silent. Ask what her silence makes possible. That new fitness goal, that trip you kept postponing, that business idea, that early morning routine. Her silence has handed you time, space, and energy. And none of it should be wasted longing for someone who couldn't see your worth in the first place. Action step. Each time you feel yourself slipping into self-doubt because she hasn't reached out, pause and ask, what can I now create that I couldn't before? Then do it. Build something she was never meant to be part of, not in spite of her silence, but because of it. That's not rejection, that's liberation. 5. Build emotional armor. Make your peace untouchable. There's a kind of power that isn't loud. It doesn't shout, doesn't demand attention, doesn't crumble under silence. It just is. And it's built slowly, quietly, through emotional discipline, especially when you're being ignored by someone you once cared for. You're not weak for feeling disappointed. You're not less of a man for missing her. But when your mood depends on her replies, when your self-worth rises and falls with her attention, you've handed over control of your inner world. That's not love. That's captivity. Her silence is not a reflection of your value. It's an invitation to choose mastery over reaction. You don't have to numb yourself. You don't have to lash out or retreat in shame. You simply breathe, stay grounded, and let the moment pass through you without losing yourself in it. That's what real strength looks like, holding steady when everything inside you wants to reach, react, or retreat. Epictetus said it best. No man is free who is not master of himself. You can't control her, but you can control your presence, your energy, your focus. Action. Step, build a daily control ritual. When the anxiety hits, pause. Inhale for 4, exhale for 6. Remind yourself, this is her choice, not my identity. Then redirect. Write, lift, walk, build. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you reinforce the armor. And little by little, her silence loses its power. Your peace becomes untouchable. 6. Build a brotherhood that reminds you who you are. When you're hurting, isolation can feel like safety, a place to hide, to process, to avoid more pain. But the truth is, isolation doesn't heal, it distorts. Alone with your thoughts, you start to forget your strength. You replay old conversations. You justify her silence. You begin to believe the story that you weren't enough. That's when the worst decisions happen. The late-night message, the emotional outburst, the moment of weakness that reopens a door you fought hard to close. The Stoics understood something that modern men often overlook. No one climbs alone. Even the strongest man needs a circle, not just friends, but brothers, men who won't let you spiral, men who challenge your thinking, hold you to your standards, and remind you of who you are when you've forgotten. You don't need more distractions. You need alignment, a brotherhood grounded in purpose, growth, and truth. Her silence can feel loud when you're alone, but when you're surrounded by strength, it fades into the background, not because it stops, but because it no longer defines you. Action step. Host a weekly men's night. No phones, no shallow talk, just real conversations, goals, wins, setbacks. Let it be a space where emotional control is honored, not ridiculed. Because when you're seen by men who want to see you win, no woman's silence can shake your foundation. 7. Anchor yourself in purpose and make her silence irrelevant. A man without purpose is easily broken by silence. When there's no mission driving him forward, even the absence of a single voice can feel like a storm. But when a man is rooted in something greater than himself, when he wakes up each day with fire in his chest and direction in his soul, her silence loses its grip. It becomes background noise, not a defining moment. You weren't meant to orbit someone else's attention. You were built to build, to turn pain into discipline, to take what hurt you and let it shape the architecture of your legacy. The Stoics believed in duty over distraction. Marcus Aurelius began each day by asking, "What is my duty today?" Not who will approve of me, not will she text back, but what am I here to do? When you're living aligned with your purpose, whether it's building your health, mastering your craft, serving others, or growing your wealth, you naturally stop chasing anything that doesn't serve that path. That includes people who leave without explanation. So if she's gone silent, let her go. Her silence is no longer your concern. The only question worth asking is, what will you build today? Action step. Create a purpose map. Choose one core area: health, wealth, service, or skill. Set a 90-day goal. Break it into daily actions. Show up consistently, because when you commit to a mission, you stop needing attention. And that's what makes you undeniable. Summary: don't let her silence break you. Let it make you. There was a time when he couldn't stop thinking about her. The unanswered messages, the late-night questions, the confusion that crept in like a fog. But instead of chasing her, he turned inward. He practiced acceptance. He let go of what he couldn't control. He leaned into silence, not as a punishment, but as a test, and he passed it. Today, his business is thriving. His purpose is alive. He doesn't need closure anymore because he built something better than a response. He built himself. That's what purpose does. It gives you direction when you're lost. It turns heartbreak into hunger, and it gives pain a place to transform. This path isn't about impressing her. It's about becoming the man who doesn't crumble in the face of silence. When you practice these 7 Stoic disciplines, something changes. Acceptance sharpens your focus. Reverse psychology strengthens your restraint. Her silence becomes fuel, freedom, armor, brotherhood, and at the center of it all, purpose. These aren't just coping strategies. They're your foundation, your daily practices to rise above drama and move with depth. Because when you master yourself, you stop being defined by who stays or leaves. Her silence, it becomes background noise against the roar of your evolution. And here's the truth. The world always takes notice of a man who doesn't need it to. That's your power. You don't chase validation. You build value. So let her silence be the beginning. Let it awaken something deeper, not just survival, greatness. If you're ready to own that truth, remember this: you were never meant to be broken. You were made to rise. If this message struck a chord, don't just scroll by. Carry it forward. Like this video, subscribe to Stoic Station, and turn on those notifications, because this is content built for men who rise through stillness, not noise. Share this with a brother who needs to hear it. Someone standing in the quiet, questioning his worth in the face of silence. Remind him, this is where transformation begins. Drop your story in the comments. Have you faced her silence? How did you respond? Because your words, they might be the very strength another man is searching for. This journey? It's not for those chasing comfort. It's for men devoted to growth, resilience, and unwavering purpose. And if that's you, know this: every step you take in self-mastery echoes louder than any of the words she never said. So keep your head high, your heart steady, and your purpose locked in. Your empire isn't behind you, it's waiting. Let's build it.